Hey guys, I just want to make a quick video for the teaching from yesterday, since we had a really great discussion and we ended up just taking too long talking. Decided to just record this real quick and send it out to you guys. And I mean, I kept saying that this is more of a sharing than it is a teaching. It's something that I was encouraged by and something that I just wanted to share with you guys. So number one, I just wanted to say I hope you guys are excited as I am about Acts. For some reason, I don't know, something just feels fresh and new about this. And I don't know, I've been pretty encouraged already. So anyway, real quick on the teaching. So what this started with for me, or what I decided I wanted to share, was it was the whole ascension. It was Jesus going up into the sky, and the main thing that I was like kind of fixated on was how the disciples are just standing there like staring up into the sky, and then all of a sudden there's these guys around them like, what are you guys doing looking up into the sky? So let me just read it real quick again. So the Ascension, Acts chapter 1, verse 9, it says, "After he had said this, he was taken up as they were watching, and a cloud took him out of their sight. While he was going, they were gazing into heaven, and suddenly two men in white clothes stood by them. They said, 'Men of Galilee, why do you stand looking up into heaven? The same Jesus who has been taken from you into heaven will come in the same way that you have seen him going into heaven.'" And I guess, number one, it was very interesting to hear everybody's like perspectives, because we discussed this in group. So it was interesting to hear everybody's perspectives. But before hearing everybody's perspectives, I was just sitting here thinking about these verses, and how, what's happening in these verses is that they are, sorry, I got dogs in the room with me. I got people scratching and jingling their collars, and I got a pug snoring too, so sorry. But it's like they're standing there looking up into heaven, and the angels showing up around them are kind of like, what are you guys doing? Like, it's time to get to work. It is almost kind of how I felt. Like it's time to start doing this. And that was kind of how I had started feeling about it a little bit. And then I ran across this verse in Mark. So it's Mark chapter 2. And let me just read it real quick. So Mark chapter 2, verse 18, it says, "Now John's disciples and the Pharisees were fasting. People came and asked him being Jesus, 'Why do John's disciples and the Pharisees' disciples fast, but your disciples do not fast?' Jesus said to them, 'The wedding guests cannot fast while the groom is with them, can they? As long as they have the groom with them, they cannot fast. But the time will come when the groom will be taken away from them, and then they will fast on that day.'" Now there's more to that passage, and I'm kind of jumping into the middle of a context there, but what's the point of that passage? We're talking now about the day, with the Ascension, we're talking now about the day where the groom has been taken away. So now the disciples are in a time of fasting, quote unquote. Obviously they're talking about actual fasting, but Jesus creates this sort of like category, or this sort of like almost like metaphor about fasting, I think, that says something about what is going to happen in Acts now. See, the disciples were in a place of feasting while they were with Jesus. And remember I said last night, if you were there, that this teaching kind of connected to communion, because what do we look forward to with communion? We look forward to the feast someday. Someday we're going to feast with Jesus. Being with Jesus, like having Jesus with you, whether he was on earth with them, or whether when we're going to be with him again someday, means feasting. But when Jesus isn't with us, when Jesus left them, it became a time of fasting. And feasting versus fasting is relaxing versus getting after it. And that's why I passed out. It went so perfectly with that article. I didn't plan it that way, but it went so perfectly with that article, which I hope you read, that I passed out to everybody, about the mission of God, or like being on mission, or the theology of mission within the Bible. This idea of being on mission starts with God. Then it's, God on mission, Israel on mission, Jesus on mission, the church on mission in Acts. And I may have mentioned it last night that, this is the reason why, for example, Jesus said, Satan, get behind me, to Peter, because Peter was trying to get in the way of the mission. And these disciples, as they're staring up into the clouds, watching Jesus ascend away, they had to transition from a period of feasting to a period of fasting. They're no longer relaxing in the presence of the groom. Now they're going to be fasting, and they're going to be getting after it, and they're going to be about their Father's business, and they're going to be pursuing God, and pursuing, what the Holy Spirit is calling them to do as the church. And it was just such a kind of a wake-up call for me. It was a wake-up call because it's so easy to get in a feasting mindset while we're living this life. It's so easy to get into a mindset of comfort and trying to be comfortable and just accumulating stuff in this first world Disneyland that we live in. And it can be very easy to get off mission. It can be very easy to get into a state of feasting and getting fat, like I literally am right now, feasting and getting fat instead of fasting and being on mission for what God is calling us to do. I hope that's encouraging to somebody. It was encouraging to me. Yeah, we could talk some more. All right, guys. Love you guys.